How do you survive a max zone pull in Fortnite in endgame for tournaments? That's what we'll be talking about today. How can you survive these long zone pulls in tournaments where it's really important? You want to make your first $100, you're on the way to get them, but then you pull max zone and you don't know how to rotate it. We'll be going over how to rotate, we'll be going over some different tunneling strats, how you should rotate, and then I'll also show you an example of pros, how they do it. And we'll talk about how to do this with fizz, which is easier of course, and how to do it without fizz, which is a bit harder. We'll be hopping into my practice map first. You can see the code on screen right here. So this is my practice map. You can do some free building, edit practice, crosshair placement practice, peek practice, and piece control practice. We'll just be going over here into the free building section and build around a bit. So just quick tunneling strats, what you can use to get into zone. So if you just get into zone quick, so if you didn't pull max zone, you just want to go for a full tarp, especially in duos. You get the cones, you get the walls, and you can keep tarping like this. You need to be able to do this, but now, if you have a max zone pull and you don't want to use all of your mats, you usually, first of all, want to stick on one side. Don't never run through the middle. That's going to get you killed. Everyone sees you, everyone's going to spray you. You're open from every side, so always choose a side, left or right, which everyone is shortest and has less people. And then, now you only need to block off one side, because on this side, fully zone. No one's there, and on this side, there's some people. So then we can just build a simple tarp like this. We build a floor, look down, and build a stair. Boom. Easy tarp. You can get into zone quick. You can also do this quick. Just always throw some stairs behind you. You can sprint a bit and then throw a stair behind you, then go up a bit. So you don't need to do this constantly, but you do want some stairs behind you, and you should be really good at placing these stairs behind you. Thirdly, if there's a few more people around you, you can use this tarp right here. Floor, wall, look at the wall, and place a stair. And then you can keep going through like this. Let's take a look at how Noah Rayleigh managed to rotate a zone on a max pull with taking barely any damage. As you can see on the bottom right, they do pull max zone right here, and they have to get into it quick. As you can see, they instantly go to zone. They go as early as possible. So that's what you want to do. That's tip number one, go as early as possible. But before you do that, you need to scout. You need to be sitting in your cone. You need to be looking around for other players that might cause a problem along the rotate. So that's the first thing they did here to get a free rotate like this. Scout, look around, and you want to assess which players might potentially be of importance and you need to be careful of. So right here, it's basically just these two guys. They block off the right to these guys, and then they just go below these guys right here. And they're pretty good to go. There's no one really in front of them. So always quickly scout, and then they use fizz. They jump down out of their box and go as early as possible. Now they jump down here. That's another really great thing you can do with fizz. Always start up on a high layer and then you drop down. That's how you can use your fizz. You don't get any fall damage and you're not in the air for long. That's the main thing here. If you jump with fizz, you are pretty vulnerable and you might get beamed. Another great thing they do right here, their fizz is used up and they take a quick break. So they just make a box, look ahead again, scout again, because they're in a new position. They need to re-evaluate their situation and then they can keep going. They use fizz again and boom, they can keep going. They build walls left and right because they did jump here with their fizz. You want to be careful. You always want to build extra walls while rotating with fizz so you don't get beamed, as you can see they're doing right here. And take another break. Now they're basically in, use fizz again, and they have an easy rotate into zone. Now they can quickly heal up, reload if they use any ammo, and because they rotated early, they can now look back on the other people that didn't go early and get some free kills in a sec right here. One kill there, another knock, and this guy Nathan is actually the guy that was next to them at the start of their rotate, and they didn't go for that early rotate, and that's why they die right here. So tip number one, rotate early. Number two, use your fizz and drop down from high layers. Number three, you want to take breaks between your rotates. Number four, you want to be very careful when rotating with fizz, so build a lot. And number five, you can try to head bump when using fizz. This is just a way of getting to zone quicker. You head bump on top somewhere. So with fizz, you have the option between staying on a high layer and then dropping down, or you can try to stay on the same layer by head bumping. So you build a floor above your head and then you can head bump against that, and that way you don't jump out that far and you won't get beamed as easily. If you want to learn more on this topic, check out my website esportx. rotatehub.com. You can learn more about how to rotate in solos, how to fight in solos. There's a whole masterclass of videos. You can get a custom training plan and feedback from coaches. So make sure you check that out. So if you don't have fizz to rotate, it is very important, even more important than with fizz, is that you go early because you are so much slower. You want to go as early as possible to zone, and you want to choose a side. So right here, we can see if you're back here, for example, Nathan, you can go all the way around here and then rotate behind these guys. So you want to pick a side, don't go through the middle. Here the middle is pretty free, so they might actually be able to do that. But usually the general rule is stick to one side because that's easier. You don't need to block off as many players. So use mats number 1. Use a lot of mats if you're playing without fizz to get into zone safely. And then number 2, you want to stick to one side. And number 3, go as early as possible. And then of course, while you're rotating, try to look for a fizz, try to maybe find some scrap loot or even go for a kill. And you getting to zone earlier will then give you a position to fight and then possibly kill someone that had a fizz. So that's how you want to play without fizz. Comment down below if you have any more questions. I hope you liked this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.